3 rules of being a good criminal defense lawyer: always on time, neatly dressed, and occasionally sober.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, welcome to a fireside chat with Bruce Rivers. No, it's not a fireside chat. This is Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with a Shannon Sharpe update. And I've got my Irish cufflinks, so graciously gifted to me by Clodagh. This is also brought to you by askalawyer.com. So let's say you have, you need a restraining order. Maybe you've got somebody named Nick that keeps coming around and you don't want him around, but you feel like you need to go get a restraining order. Well, what you do is you go to askalawyer.com and you throw out your facts, and maybe they tell you what to do. You can say, no, Nick's a good guy. Don't, just deal with him. Everything's cool. Or maybe your grandma's in your basement and you got to get her out of there because she's dealing meth out of the basement and she's just really not your good neighborly person to have down there because of the rave party she throws in the basement, Well, you go to askalawyer.com. How do I get my grandmother out of the basement? For $49, you get the solution. Bye, Grandma. See you later. Or maybe you just love your grandma and you want to protect her. So how do I put her stuff in a trust so that I get it all? No, not really. What you do is you go to askalawyer.com. If you have a legal issue, go to askalawyer.com for $49. You get a living, breathing, live lawyer, and you can either dispel the myth that you don't have a case or find the next steps to get to where you need to go. Or if you're doing your own research, they have an AI component trained in all the 50 states, so go to askalawyer.com. They're a great sponsor for the channel, so give them some love. All right, so we did a video that we filmed, I think last week or something like that. And so we're going to play that, and we've got some updates. So here's the video, and then I'm going to give you the update on the other side of this. Shannon Sharpe is in the news because they had a court date. And guess what happened at the court date? The plaintiff and her lawyer didn't show up. Why not? I don't know. So a woman filed an anonymous lawsuit. That's what they do, Jane Doe. Suing Hall of Famer for $50 million, accusing him of assault and battery. There's a hearing called your initial appearance. And that's a hearing where you set up and get a pretrial order. Basically, it's the initial appearance to set the tone for the rest of the case. And you set it up you start basically with a trial date. Okay, we're going to try this case in about 8-9 months. So, and then you backfill all this other stuff because we have to have discovery deadlines, notice of depositions, that kind of thing. And then we have motion for summary judgment deadlines, dispositive motions, they call them. And I'll tell you this, fucking civil discovery and civil trials are just arduous. What I love about a criminal trial, here's your shit, I'll give you my shit, let's go to trial. I mean, that's really what it is. You can do depositions in Florida, but pretty much nowhere else. You don't get to do depositions in a criminal case. In a criminal case, you have interrogatories, you have depositions, requests for the production of documents, you have admissions, and you have and then you have other discovery tools. And if the other side doesn't comply, then you have motions to compel. Then you have a motion for summary judgment. That's where there's no genuine issue of material fact. And you say to the judge, the facts in this are pretty darn clear. You should either toss it out or you should give us the relief we're looking for. So the Shannon Sharpe team is basically calling this a shakedown, right? And so they're supposed to have their first hearing where they, set the trial order and pretrial order. And it was supposed to be last Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So the lawsuit's in Las Vegas. Now here's the thing. Her lawyer's not from Las Vegas. And one of the issues that you have, if you're an out-of-town lawyer, you got to fucking be there, And if you can't be there, try to get it on Zoom. So what happens is, I'm a lawyer, I want to take a case in Las Vegas, right? I'm not licensed in Las Vegas, but I have a guy down in Las Vegas. He'll vouch for my credentials, and he can pro hoc me in. It's called pro hoc vice. So pro hoc vice is where, you're not licensed in that state, but you get another lawyer who is to vouch for your credentials, and you fill out these forms with the court. You have a little hearing, and the court says you can appear, right? But guess what? You don't fucking show up, you're going to get a default against your client, and then you are subject to some real sanctions by the court and by the board. You can lose your law license doing that. So one of the issues is, you are subject to that jurisdiction. They tell you need to be there on Tuesday. Guess what? You better fucking damn well be there on Tuesday. And if you can't, you better get permission to appear by Zoom. Zoom has really saved a lot of time, effort, and expense for lawyers, because I can appear in one county and 300 miles away in another county in the same morning without having to really upset things. And if you're just going there for a 5-minute hearing, having a Zoom hearing is beneficial. Why the fuck wouldn't you show up? I mean, it's so ridiculous. And, Trump's lawyers, or not Trump's lawyers. I have Trump derangement syndrome. I think I do. Sharpe's lawyers are saying this is just a shakedown. First of all, $50 million. I asked for $50 million in a case. That's not easy to do. I mean, asking for that much money can be perceived as greedy, as unreasonable, as a lot of things, okay? But I asked for a range between 30 and 50 million, and they gave my client 35. So it can be done, but you have to have the right case. You listen to those voicemails or those recordings that she made of Shannon Sharpe, where he's just calm. He's a little belittling, but not terribly so. He's not abusive over the phone. She's setting him up. I mean, why, if you're in a loving, caring relationship, why would you record it? I mean, you only do that is because you feel like you're getting fucked over, or you want to fuck somebody over. That's the only reason that you do that. And maybe she legitimately felt that way. I don't know. But if you don't show up to court, what is your problem? Sharpe's team asked Albertson to review the progress of the case at the later date and extend 45 days. The judge expressed surprise that Sharpe's team did not want to settle sooner, but granted their request. Well, guess what? When nobody shows up to court, the person that's there to speak is the person that's going to get hurt. A lawyer told Channel 8 News, generally it's better to have homegrown counsel explain the intricacies in our system that a Nevada-based lawyer would best understand. If you have a matter pending in Nevada, it's best to have a Nevada counsel. Doesn't sound like he's auditioning for the job. I don't think that's always true, but if you have a good local counsel and you guys split up your duties a little bit so you're not doing it alone in Nevada or in a foreign jury, because you're not going to know the judges. A local lawyer would. You're not going to know, how they like things. When you can step on toes when you're in a different jurisdiction. So if you remember, we've got Shannon Sharpe on the phone choking her and talking about choking, and the text messages are really bad. They just are. And clearly this was a situation where he was engaged. I mean, what is he, like 55, and he's got a 19-year-old girlfriend, something like that? I mean, that's a little much. That's just a little much. And so the next hearing is scheduled for September. And he offered her $10 million. And she turned it down. She should have taken it. I don't know why you would turn that money down. Anyway, so this is going to be a short video for us. There's not really much to talk about other than her lawyer didn't show up. Get a new lawyer. I mean, fuck. If your lawyer doesn't show up, fire him and get a new lawyer. It's just as simple as that. Your lawyer has to be there. 3 rules of being a good criminal defense lawyer: always on time, neatly dressed, and occasionally sober. Shannon Sharpe, who is in his mid-50s, so he's got more yesterdays than he has tomorrows, but he wants to date somebody that has more tomorrows than yesterdays, right? 19-year-old, not a good look. What's her name? Jane Doe. She doesn't want to give her name. She does. That's the name of the complaint, then, right? Tony Busby, as you know, the guy who dwells in the dregs of the legal system, it posted on his Instagram. On April 20th, 2025, the Busby law firm filed a complaint in Nevada making several allegations against Shannon Sharpe on behalf of our client. Both sides acknowledge a long-term, consensual, and tumultuous relationship. After protracted and respectful negotiations, in other words, we were screaming at each other, I'm pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is now closed, and the suit will be dismissed with prejudice. What does it with prejudice mean? Well, it means if you dismiss something with prejudice, it means you can never bring it up again. Without prejudice means I'm dismissing it for now, but if anything happens, I can bring it up later. Well, they can't bring it up. But how dumb was this, honestly? Now, let's say I'm Shannon Sharpe. I offer her $10 million to go away. They tell me no, because they want what? They wanted $50 million. Remember that's what they wanted? $50 million? My hope is that because they filed this, they put Shannon Sharpe through a bunch of shit, okay? He lost his ESPN gig. It's all over the media. Now the damage has been done. So what's it worth to them? I mean, it's if I'm Shannon Sharpe, it was worth more before they filed it because the value is in the secrecy. You know, keep my life the way it was. Don't tell anybody about this. And so they filed the lawsuit and they blew their wads, for lack of a better word, right? Pardon the pun. Shannon Sharpe refused to watch the alleged sex tape that his accuser claims shows their non-consensual encounter. So is this a I keep saying non-consensual, non-consensual thing. And so this is a text from Gabriella, that's her name. But I cried when you left because I begged you to put on a condom and not put it in my ass. And you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. Well, no does mean no, unless you're dealing with an OnlyFans model. No, I'm just joking. You know, that's a thing. That is a thing that professional athletes did all the time. You know, I mean, my understanding is that that's what happened with Kobe. And that's why that thing went south. Because they don't like to wear condoms. And then when they're about to have that moment of ecstasy, they put it in the ass. And that's where they rather than in the vagina, so they don't get them pregnant. When you have these texts, these are hers. I don't know how to process this. And his only response is, can I call you later? Oh, Jesus Christ. Why create so much trouble for yourself, Shannon? I mean, this cost him a lot of fucking money. And then she doesn't hide her name on you know, a lot of times what they do in these lawsuits to protect the innocent party, they charge it out as Jane Doe versus like Shannon Sharpe. That's what they did here. And they do that to keep them anonymous so that they're not, you know, attacked or stigmatized. However, I disagree with that whole fucking thing, honestly. If you're gonna attack somebody in a lawsuit, stand up and be prepared to defend it. You know, if you're gonna tell a story, it's got to stand up to cross-examination. You know, I've seen a lot of comments saying that I was wrong about the Diddy trial, and I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. But I'm just sitting here prognosticating. I didn't see all of Cassie's testimony. I didn't hear all the evidence that came in. But clearly the jury did, and they didn't believe her. They didn't believe that this was non-consensual. And that's really what it kind of came down to. A similar thing can be said here. And listen, this is Gabriella Zaninga's post, and she's an OnlyFans model. So she's no stranger to whoring out her image. Today, I have decided to retire from OnlyFans. Thank you for the incredible support that you've shown me. Oh, show me your tits. Give me a break. Give me a break. There's incredible support over the past few years. This community has given me a life I could never have imagined. OnlyFans. What do you do on OnlyFans? Now, I've never frequented an OnlyFans page. But what tell me, I mean, is it just like sewing tips?
Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about is lighting. Most sewing machines have a light on them.
Is it cooking lessons?
Hey, cookers. I've been having fun in the kitchen for over 50 years.
I mean, Gabriella, tell me how this community has been so supportive of you. Show me your tits. Let's see. I could never have imagined. I'll still be active on social media. Of course you will, because you're 19, 20 years old. Of course you will. You don't have a life outside of social media. If it's not online, it didn't happen. Remember? I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that don't involve my anus. Or no, it doesn't say that. I'm truly excited. Sorry. I'm truly excited for this next chapter. I love you all. Okay, now that I've got $10 million, I bet you they settled for $10 million. But now that I got $10 million, tax-free, mind you, then I don't have to whore my image out anymore. When you have, okay, so Robert or Eddie or whatever his name is, he just opined, is it tax-free? When you're claiming an injury, I'll give you an example. I have a client that was burned 40% of his body, and they used another 40% for skin grafts. We tried his case to a jury. The jury awarded him $35 million for that injury. That was something he lost. That is tax-free money. She's suing for what she claims to be damages caused by, emotional and tore up, some tissue in her anal cavity, whatever he did. That is all compensable, and it is tax-free. When you get money for an injury, it's not taxable. But let's say if I sue for lost income. Well, if you sue for lost income, lost wages, those would be wages coming in, right? So you're getting compensated for wages you didn't receive. So that would be, you get what I'm saying? So that is the deal. And I know I got a little blue in this episode, but you have to laugh a little bit because these are first world problems. I mean, you're going out with an ex-NFL star? What the fuck do you think's gonna happen? He's gonna take that big old hunk of meat and tear up whatever tissue you got. This ain't love, baby. I mean, this isn't romance. This is, like that whole Vince McMahon thing. I mean, it's depravity. And depravity at its heightened level, Why I'm all for man on top, get it over with, quick snuggle and fall asleep. That's where it should be. Love the one you're with. Don't torture the one you're with, please. Anyway, so that's our little reaction to Shannon Sharpe and the update and all that. So we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Look what Nick just brought in. Yes, that's right. Coffee cups. We have all kinds of stuff on clrbrucerivers.com. So go to clrbrucerivers.com for all your merch needs. Go to askalawyer.com because they're a loyal to the channel. And they're the same people that brought you e-forms and e-sign. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and go to Facebook for the archives. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God.